Yeah. I was an LPN and I worked at Yes.
Good
Yes.
evening. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. This is ACAP Centre County, and we're here to give you a little bit of information that hopefully you will find useful, whether you're dealing with a parent or other loved one. Caregiving kind of spans a broad range. So before we get started, I would like to thank our core sponsors, and they are Encompass Health, Juniper, the Office of Aging, and Grain Hospice. So we're grateful to them for their support. We are also grateful to Steinbacher, Goodall, and Yurchak, who are presenting today, and they also are our monthly sponsor. So without getting into anything else, I will pass you over to Alex and Alexis and let them explain Medicare 101. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jill, and thank you to ACAP for hosting this event. So my name's Alex DeLuca. I'm an attorney at Steinbacher, Goodall, and Yurchak. And next to me here is Alexis Wetzler, who is a long-term care planner at the law firm as well. So today we're here to talk about Medicaid 101, Know If You Qualify. So a little bit about me before I start with the substance of the PowerPoint. So a little bit about me. I went to St. Vincent College from Latrobe, Pennsylvania. That's where I'm from. I then went on to Widener Commonwealth Law School in Harrisburg, where I lived there for 3 years. And all through college and all through high school and college, I worked at a nursing home. So I was exposed to the nursing home process. I worked with families, saw dementia, and saw how planning for the second half of life can really help families have peace of mind. And I even went through it with my own family. I took care of my grandfather who had dementia. I worked with my family. I saw the effects it had on us because we didn't plan that well. So my interest in law, I combined with my interest in elder care and second half of life planning. And I went to law school. And luckily I found this firm that we do elder care so I can help people plan for the second half of life. These are just a couple pictures. This is my family up here, and then here are my late grandparents to the right there. And then this is my new puppy, Toddy, who is eating all of my shoes, belts, and everything.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexis. I'm a long-term care planner with Steinbacher, Goodall, and Yurchak. I attended Wilkesburg University where I got a degree in social work and psychology. I also minored in aging studies and gerontology. I have experience of working also in a nursing home and a personal care home. And I also grew up living with my grandparents, so I have interacted with the elderly population for a very long time. And then this here is my family, my fiance, and my dogs.
There you go.
Yeah, so a little bit of how we got here. So we really love working with the aging population, protecting individuals who may need care and their spouses as well. And we also like to educate on the different services that you can take care to help with programs and how to apply for these and what they may entail. So what we're going to discuss here is how to navigate through some complicated systems and paperwork, how to qualify for these programs, and some tips and tricks to qualify, even though you may think that you might not qualify.
All right, so first starting off, we're going to start with one of the main resources that we can recommend to everybody is the Area Agency on Aging, or the Office of Aging. This is a nonprofit agency designated by the state to address needs and concerns of all older adults. The Office of Aging, the name might change based on what state you're in, or something different depending on what state you're in. The Office of Aging coordinates and offers different services that help older adults remain in their homes and here's with the services provided by the Office of Aging. So level of care assessments. So this helps determine the level of care that an individual will need, and it helps determine if placement is needed, the appropriate place to place an individual. The next one is case management. So case management, this is a service offered by the Office of Aging to individuals and families who need assistance with securing and maintaining basic needs and navigating any systems, any services, and also having resources to help. The next service is Meals on Wheels. A lot of people have heard of this one, volunteers who deliver meals to an individual's home, and you can just check with your local Office of Aging to determine if you qualify for this service. Next service we have here is the Caregiver Assistance Program. So some government programs pay for family or friends of individuals to help care for a person's everyday needs. An ombudsman, is the next one. This works to resolve complaints and issues on behalf of individuals living in long-term care settings. The ombudsman empowers residents by educating them on their rights and advocating for those who are unable to represent themselves, to ensure that everybody is receiving the highest quality of care. The next one is the Older Adult Protective Services. This protects individuals 60 years or older against any abuse, and it also offers education on how to report any suspected abuse. The last service here that I'll talk about is senior centers. So senior centers provides meals, activities, and volunteer opportunities. There's no charge to enter the senior center. They're funded through the Office of Aging. So by making a range of options available, the Office of Aging makes it possible for individuals to choose the service that best fits them. They have a mission of creating home and community-based services to help maximize the independency and the dignity of older adults. And one main resource that the Office of Aging has is what's called the Green Book. Centre County Office of Aging the Green Book is a resource guide that's already put together. And if you check your local Office of Aging to see if they have any of this information that's already compiled for you, that they have all this information ready to go for you. So the Office of Aging in general is a great resource that anybody who has a loved one should use to plan for their second half of life.
Okay, so now we're going to dive deep into the main aspect of this presentation, Medicaid. So Medicaid is a federal and state funded program, and the dollars are allocated by federal government and state to determine how they use this and the best ways to use their funds. So there are some income and asset guidelines, but that is determined by the specific state that you guys are living in and the type of Medicaid that you guys are applying for, whether it's independence waiver, Medicaid in the long-term care facility, or the waiver program, which is an in-home caregiver service funded by Medicaid. So a little bit of a secret that I like to point out, you guys can use state or federal guidelines to determine if you guys are going to qualify for Medicaid. So there are just different aspects. It might make sense to reach out for the federal guidelines if it's like a bigger issue rather than reaching out to the state guidelines to determine the eligibility. There is an online portal that helps a lot with Medicaid. We have a type of issue with it with long-term care Medicaid, but it does work for the under 60 programs. It does work for health insurance, the CHIP program, items like that. So I want to go in depth about the behavioral health. So with behavioral health, there are different aspects funded through the state and federal guidelines that allow you to get resources such as like suicide prevention, crisis services, drug and alcohol abuse, addictions, inpatient and outpatient services. So that is a place that you guys can look into that for treatment options, which is help funded through Medicaid and through private pay. And then the under 60 programs, there's one specific that I wanted to talk about, which is called the Independence Waiver Program. So this is an individual who is under the age of 60 years old, ages 18 to 60, and has a physical disability that limits 3 or more of their everyday life activities. So that is definitely something that you guys should look into if you have an individual that may qualify for that. Like I said, it differs state to state for the eligibility requirements for that. And then I want to talk a little bit more about the long-term care, which is nursing home or in-home care Medicaid programs. So for the long-term care, which would be an individual in a skilled nursing home that might need a way to pay for their care that do not have enough funds for private pay. So there are different income and asset guidelines that will qualify you for Medicaid in the nursing home. So if you qualify for Medicaid, your income would go straight to the nursing home monthly. You would pay your income, and then Medicaid would cover the rest. That goes with prescriptions, room and board, hospital stays, visits to the doctors, items like that. And then waiver, which is home and community-based services for individuals ages 60 and older. So this is for an individual that would like to stay at home and not have to be placed into a nursing home. To qualify for that, there is an income guideline that you have to follow, which differs state to state. And to qualify for this, you would reach out to an independent enrollment broker, which would help you navigate through caregivers. Then you'd have to pick a specific agency. So they would fund the caregivers through waiver and through Medicaid to get you the proper care. And to go deeper into the in-home care, the Office of Aging would help you qualify for levels of care, which levels of care to meet waiver, you would have to be a skilled nursing level of care. Like I said, there are strict income and asset guidelines for all the programs. There are still options to qualify for the program, even if your assets and incomes are over the state threshold. It is important to work with an elder law firm that focuses on Medicaid planning to shift around assets to get you qualified for Medicaid. This is what I was referring to as each state has a long-term care Medicaid manual that is used for reference. Sometimes it can be gray. So that's what I meant by the federal guidelines can also overstep the government guidelines there. So if it makes more sense for the government guidelines, then that may make it easier for you to qualify. This is referring to the online portal here. It doesn't work like it should for the long-term care. We have issues with uploading the information. It is best to speak to the local care caseworker who you guys are working with, get that submitted via paper or email, and then follow up with the caseworker that way. But it does work with health insurance, like I said, the CHIP program, items like that to qualify for Medicaid. And then to go a little bit more, the important thing is to keep track of the deadlines, because if you get into an appeal status with Medicaid, like if the caseworker didn't give enough information, they might follow up with you to get that. It's important to keep track of those deadlines to meet them, and then make sure you're also meeting them as well, so the resources are not declined. So this is the in-home care, which is the community-based waiver program. You can choose your own caregivers and agencies and pay for that care out of pocket. Like I said, through Medicaid funded program for waiver, you will reach out and get the caregivers through the independent enrollment broker. And these are the kind of the steps you have to take. So you have to get a level of care assessment by the Office of Aging. Then you have to get a physician certification from your doctor stating that you meet that level of care. And then you would reach out to the Department of Human Services to see the asset and income guidelines and the gifting rules that have to do with Medicaid. And then you would reach out to the independent enrollment broker, and then the next steps would be to determine how many hours a person would get in the home, and then how the caregivers were going to be paid, and then how many caregivers would be coming in and out of the home to take care of your loved one. So the LIFE program is Living Independence for the Elderly. It's a managed care program that provides a comprehensive package of medical and supportive services. This is funded through private pay and also if you have Medicaid. And the Adult Day Center is a place where it offers interactive and safe which is supervised environment for older adults with dementia-related disease, Parkinson's, or organic brain syndrome. They provide personal care, nursing services, therapeutic services, emergency care, items like that.
Okay, so another resource that I just want to mention here is the Department of Human Services. So I'm not going to spend too much time going into the weeds with the Department of Human Services, but it's just important to recognize that this is the overseeing agency for Medicaid benefits. And although it might be titled something different in your state, it's important to know that there are these overseeing agencies in different states that can help with medical assistance as far as housing, can help with any children or food stamps services as well. So another resource is the Department of Health. And so this was created in 1978, and this department serves as the state unit on aging and advocating for the interests of older adults in Pennsylvania. So this service oversees an array of benefits, services, and programs that are made available through its network of 52 local area offices of aging, and that covers all of the Commonwealth's 67 counties. And while on Medicaid, it is important that you may qualify for housing vouchers, CHIP, as Alexis mentioned, and SNAP or food stamps.
So the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, this is who oversees the nursing homes to make sure that they're meeting their federal guidelines, like levels of care ratios. Individuals that need more care might need more services and more individuals taking care of them. So if you have any issues with nursing homes not meeting their federal guidelines, this would be who you would reach out to, or your local office of aging. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about Medicare and qualification of Social Security disability, and health insurance, the Apprise program, and Medicare.gov. So for Medicare, there are different parts. Part A is hospital insurance, which covers inpatient, skilled nursing, lab results, home health care. Medicare Part B, this covers medical equipment, home health care, doctors, and outpatient care. In a nursing home setting, we do see an individual that goes into a nursing home to be covered for Medicaid and Medicare. For Medicare, they say that they can qualify for up to 100 days. We're seeing about maybe 2 to 3 weeks on average. It's kind of deceiving, unfortunately, but we like to just lay it out there and let you guys know that, just so you're not alarmed when you get that big nursing home bill and they only covered about 2 or 3 weeks. And then supplemental health insurance and Medicare kind of work hand in hand, like I said, for those first 2 to 3 weeks. And then Social Security. So I'm going to talk a little about general Social Security. So you must be 62 years old or older and worked and paid into Social Security taxes for more than 10 years. For Social Security, this is supplemental Social Security. It's for people who have little or no income that must either have a disability or be 65 years or older. This helps cover basic items like food, clothing, housing, items like that for your everyday needs. Social Security disability insurance pays your benefits to you or a certain family member if you are a disability or have a disability and worked enough years to qualify for Social Security. The Apprise program, also known as PA Medi, the Office of Aging also helps you understand your Medicare eligibility enrollment, explain your Medicare coverage, and summary. So if you have any needed some information about PA Medi and Medicare coverage, that's who you would reach out to, would be the PA Medi or the Apprise program. So this here is a great resource if you guys are looking at some skilled nursing homes, Medicare.gov. We use this a lot to see the different nursing homes that may have beds available, their ratings, and this is very accurate. It's updated plenty of times. And also Medicare.gov is also a good resource to see if you qualify for different Medicare programs as well. And they have a great explanation on the different coverages, how you may qualify, what they cover, items like that. Now I'm going to go into some certain care facilities. So group homes, this is a home for individuals with intellectual disabilities. They have 24/7 care. An individual will come in and help them with their everyday needs, such as cooking, cleaning, bathing, personal care, transportation. And then personal care homes and assisted living, they kind of go hand in hand with each other. They're same verbiage, basically. So this is a location that provides shelter, meals, and assistance for personal care. This is not 24/7 care. This is an individual that can kind of take care of himself and just need help for a couple hours a day with some items such as cleaning, cooking, bathing, items like that. Skilled nursing facilities, this is 24/7 care. This is usually we see long-term care. This can be covered for Medicaid and and then there is legislation actually right now that's happening that they're trying to get personal care and assisted livings covered by Medicaid as well. Hopefully it happens, we're hoping. There's a lot of information coming out right now about that. Continuing care retirement communities, this is kind of the community that would age in place. So you would start in the personal care level and then work your way up to skilled. They tend to have different contracts. Definitely reach out to your elder care law firm to go over those contracts with you to make sure you're applying for the right stage of care, the right amount of funds, items like that.
All right, so as an elder law attorney, I just wanted to mention that. So it's my job that I work with long-term care planners, and we meet with clients to make sure that long-term care planning on the legal side is up to par based on any state regulations. Whether that may include asset protection planning, I'm not going to get too far in the weeds on trusts or anything like that, but having good legal documents is very important to take this step into long-term care planning. That includes powers of attorney and wills, which you may be familiar with. Special needs planning as well. We can help work with long-term care planners if anybody has a legal disability in order to protect any assets if they're on government benefits. Also, we work with long-term care planners for the Medicaid qualification. So we work to make sure that this person's situation is up to par and we apply for Medicaid and qualify. And there actually is also another piece of legislation going through the House right now that would give nursing homes would have to give residents the options to seek advice from an elder care attorney when applying for Medicaid. So why it's important to reach out to an elder law attorney or an elder law firm is because those firms and elder law attorneys, that's what they specialize in, that's what we specialize in. We don't dabble in any other type of the law. This is exactly what we do. We do it every day, and we just make sure we do it right. Because as I mentioned before, my family, a little personal note, my family, we didn't plan. So there was wasn't a lot of peace of mind, a lot of scrambling, a lot of stress. And I know people probably have dealt with that every day. So by meeting with an elder law attorney and an elder law firm, we can help with that peace of mind to make sure your loved one is taken care of, and we can help with the process through going through the second half of life. And I think that's it for us. Did anybody have any questions that we can help try to answer?
It's a lot of information. Very cool.
Will you be sharing the PowerPoint?
I think so, right, Jill?
Sorry?
I'm asking Jill. Jill, are we going to share the PowerPoint with them?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
You said the online
Portal.
doesn't work very well with the
Long-term Medicaid. Yes.
I went out to the assistant's office, I don't know what it's really called, and they gave me an application
Okay.
for, you need to find something for my mom.
Okay.
So you can't do any of that online, it all has to be.
Yeah, so I would
Paper.
recommend mailing it to, which county is she in? Center County?
Yeah.
So that would go to Indiana County Assistance Office. They do the Medicaid applications for Center County. It should say it on there, or you can Google like Center County Office of Aging, Department of Human Services, and it'll pop up. So you can mail it in, or they have an email address too that you can email it, scan it in, email it.
Okay.
Yeah. We find that is the easiest way.
Is this just a glitch with the system that you can't do long term? or
It's
are you
been-
trying to-
We've tried plenty of times. We've been to different presentations. Everyone's having kind of the same issue, so I think they're trying to fix it, but I haven't seen much leeway in it, unfortunately. The caseworkers don't like it either, to be honest with
sure.
you. Yeah.
Sure they do.
Yes.
Can you just mention that for those who are watching this virtually, that
Yeah.
they could put questions in chat?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
definitely.
can let you know then.
Yeah, if you
um,
guys have any questions or anything, just go ahead and type them in the chat, and Jill will read them to us, and we'll try to answer in the best way possible.
So when someone's starting the process of looking for long-term placement in a skilled nursing facility level, they know that financially they'll have to rely on Medicaid, for their loved one, or even if they have to spend down a little and then apply for Medicaid.
Yeah.
Obviously talking to an elder care law
Yeah.
office would be a great first step. But do you think it makes more sense? Like, will they do the level of care assessment first? Should family go and tour facilities first? I know there is a lack of beds right now. What's the best first step for somebody to do?
Yeah, so the best first step would be getting that level of care assessment, reaching out to the Office of Aging to determine if they qualify for personal care, or if they're teetering. That's definitely like a great source. If they're teetering on skilled nursing, yes, definitely reach out to the level of care. Office of Aging, yes, unfortunately right now, skilled nursing homes are pretty full at the moment. We see a lot of clients who are having to go to different counties because the ones in Center County are pretty full. Yeah, that's what I would recommend.
So anyone can just call Office of Aging and say, hey,
Yeah.
I think we're looking at nursing home placement, but we need that level of care, because we're planning for Medicaid.
Yep, and they'll come out to your home and everything to do that. We see them coming out pretty quickly, actually, from the Office of Aging to do that level of care assessment. So,
What
yes.
about, like, my mom's already in assisted living, but, we're trying to plan a little ahead since we
Yeah.
didn't plan at all.
Yeah. And that's okay. We can
Can
still help
Office
in
of
a crisis.
Aging Do something.
Yeah, I think just call and ask them to come down. If she has a position, they may be willing to say if they think that she has,
Okay.
that level of care has increased,
Yes.
which is what you would need to happen
Right.
to move into Medicaid, because Medicaid doesn't focus on pay for personal care.
Right.
Yes.
So it's personal care, even as opposed to disability, it's personal care.
Yeah.
But we can do that ahead of time. So then when it comes to the time that she needs to bump up,
Right.
we have Medicaid in place.
No,
Well,
that level of care assessment is good for a year.
Right.
So if she would be, if the personal care home says, we think we can keep her for a little while longer, she has the funds to do that. But if she assesses at that level of care, that you could go to a skilled care, that's the time to do the paperwork.
Mhm.
You can't really do it in advance. I mean, you can have it in your back pocket if she's already skilled in the personal care home, so there's no one to detail
Mhm.
until such time that you're ready for her to do.
Or until beds become available too.
or we run out of funds. I mean, if we're running out of money for this, should we
Definitely
apply?
get that level of care assessment to see if she can bump up to skilled.
Right.
You can't necessarily apply for Medicaid until she's in that skilled nursing
Okay.
level of care, unfortunately.
And when you're ready, there are things that you can spend down money on, like.
Yeah.
Burial
Yes,
funds,
exactly.
What then?
If
We're running out of money today.
definitely reach out to the
I'll
Office
be
of
honest
Aging.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes. Like I said, they come out pretty quickly to do that assessment. Yep.
And the results of the level of care assessment, are they provided to the patient and family, or are they just housed somewhere in the Office of Aging for future reference?
Yep, they are given to the family to tour and reach out to facilities. Yep. And that is an item that they would ask for if you're looking for a skilled nursing facility.
And I would highly recommend if your person is here in Centre County, take the Green Book, and you're the only ones that have it.
Yeah.
That you take the Green Book, open to the, if you're looking at Medicaid, look at the homes that accept, and then noted which ones have that, accept, Medicaid.
Yeah.
Do the tours, go at weird times, go during a meal. And make sure that you're comfortable before, and then you can get on the list.
There are great facilities out of Centre County too that we work hand in hand with.
Yes, there are.
Phillipsburg, Blair County, Mifflin County, definitely, there's plenty. I know it's quite a drive, but it's worth it.
How does it work? Let's say Medicaid is funding someone's stay long-term at a nursing facility, but because there wasn't a bed at somewhere close to home or maybe your first choice, how does it work? How difficult is it to transition Medicaid funding from one nursing home to another?
Very easy, from Medicaid to Medicaid, yeah, very easy.
And the first step would be for the family maybe to reach out to their preferred facility.
Yep.
And kind of say, hey, we have a bed available, let me know.
Yes, definitely get on the wait list and they'll call you when it's available and then jump on it. Yes.
The other thing that can happen is if your person you're providing care for falls and goes to the hospital and is there 2-3 days,
Yes,
at that point, they're eligible for some Medicare money.
2 to 3 weeks is what we're seeing.
And so a lot of, there are beds available for at that level of care, that when they may not transition out of that building then.
Yes, so we do see, to go into a nursing home is easier if you are in the hospital, unfortunately, because they need a place for you to go. Yes, and then it turns into short term and then it turns into long term. So that is the easiest way we're seeing, unfortunately. Go ahead.
If there's a power of attorney in place, how difficult is it to, if they have both financial and medical, how difficult is it to maybe, my brother has a power of attorney for everything. We haven't talked for years and years and years, and really doesn't do too much for my mom or nothing at all. And I was just wondering the opposite aging or where, as far as she needs hearing aid so bad. And, I don't know what direction to turn. I don't have any idea where, and he's not doing anything about it.
Yeah. Center Volunteer Medicine do hearing aids.
She's in a skilled nursing thing, they come out there.
No, but you,
I work at Center Volunteer.
oh, okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
It's-
But they wouldn't do it if she's already in the facility.
And I'm not allowed apparently to take her anywhere. I don't have an attorney.
I'm going to the social worker.
At the facility.
Yeah, and
Where-
if she
where
herself
does
can
it-
tell, yeah, and if she herself can tell anyone that she needs hearing aids, that's also great. Or if she doesn't think he's doing a good job and she can voice that, that's something that I would
Yeah.
revamp the powers of
Well,
attorney.
then you call the Office of Aging and ask for the ombudsman.
Yes. Talk to the call.
Oh, okay.
All right, he's going in, I think, and send volunteer, but her mom comes and goes, so, I don't know if she, one day she's, really clear that she wants to change things, and, another day she just really isn't with it. So, and I was even told by, the social worker at this facility that I said, what rights do I, as a family member, a daughter? And she said, absolutely none.
Yeah, unfortunately you don't, because you're not the power of attorney, you can't voice any opinion for her. Sadly, I know. I know.
Even on wellness issues?
Like showering, getting showers, I know I can't talk about medicine, but,
You can definitely make it known to the facility that it's happening, you just can't really.
oh, I have made it known, you know what they say? Talk to the or talk to the POA, your brother. After all, he is POA. That's hard. So, Do you know if they can keep you out of the facility, even though the DOA keep you out of a facility? Like my mom's in,